Hello, and thanks for joining us on For Love of Money. Tonight, from the Chateau Yaldara collection in Australia's wine country, the magnificent Barossa Valley in South Australia. A mystery antique to start tonight. Now, can you guess what this quite extraordinary piece is? Now, if you can't, don't be too concerned. I wasn't too sure myself. First of all, I thought it might have been an ancient Roman miniature picture palace, but I'm not quite sure about that. Anyway, Anna and Peter are with us to put us out of our misery. What is it? Well, is it really an ancient Roman miniature picture palace?
No, I think it's Italian, Clive, and
well, that's one
same thing. And stylistically, it's got these little figures, all with a glass of wine in their hand.
Appropriate for a wine.
A fellow here having a bit of fun with a goat, and musical instruments, which leads you to the Rococo period of perhaps the middle of last
So it's
century.
Rococo?
No, it's partly Rococo. Then it's got this classical influence of these symmetrical balancing columns.
Yes.
So I think it's probably late in the century and retaining a little bit of the Rococo business.
What about the paintings on the front?
They're on
panel?
porcelain, Clive, and
Yes.
that's very interesting. Remember, too, that this idea of painting on porcelain goes back to the Renaissance, where you really have these cabinets, not painted on porcelain, but having inset panels of precious stones.
Right.
Here, of course, by the 19th century, you're finding artists painting in a very jewel-like technique on porcelain, and the plaques being set in. Sèvres, of course, also did this idea of painting on porcelain and inlaying it into furniture.
And another tie-up, Anna, with the Romans and the vineyards is that wine has been going for 5,000 years, began in Egypt and Iraq, or what is now Iraq, and was once Babylon. Links up again with the owner of this chateau coming from that part of the world, and it's the Romans here who took the grape to Europe a hell of a long time ago.
Right. Now, why would I want this?
Well, it's a jewel case, functionally, and lovely sort of decoration along here, little drawer there.
And the panels, Clive, there are lots of scenes of really around Rome, and I think this would have been bought almost as a souvenir by a tourist who wanted to remember Rome and the various things he had seen.
And rooms within rooms. Look at this. Drawers inside.
Yes. And these twisted columns on the outside, glass looking like rock crystal.
Right. So all in all, if you had this in your boudoir, you'd feel pretty happy with the world.
Indeed,
yes.
Clive. It's a very nice piece. It's very decorative. It's very ornate. In terms of price, Peter, people will pay a lot for this kind of thing. It's useful to keep one's jewels in. I don't know, perhaps somewhere between, say, what, 1,500 and 2,000?
2,000, yeah.
Worcesterware, like this lovely and lively jug, for example, are obviously English, but Worcester, which came to fame under the great Dr. Wall, has another claim to fame as one of the few English porcelain factories to have survived to this day. Not a bad effort. So let's find out why Worcester is so sought after. Anna and Peter. Anna, why?
Well, Clive, remember that this is Royal Worcester. It's a little bit later to the earlier Dr. Wall, 18th century Worcester that you've mentioned. And by and large, they have very different collectors. This piece would date to about, say, 1910. It's very rare yellow ground for Worcester. It's beautiful, rich, almost egg yolk yellow. Here you can see that the way that the enamels have been put on in this decoration, it's very reminiscent of enamelware, particularly the enamelware of Limoges, for example. And you suddenly get collecting areas of antiques or antiquities starting to come through into ceramic decoration. So whilst broadly speaking you say that the shape is classical, it's imitating the jugs of the Greeks, you find this Limoges enamel decoration coming out. Very vibrant colours, very elegant shape. And Peter...
Classical revival, sort of 1880, 1914 at its peak.
And you can see here the standard Worcester mark. They've got a little C in the middle of it, Clive, so this gets back to your Dr. Wall Worcester C51, a factory officially established by Dr. Wall in 1751. And made in England on the bottom too, viewers that means it would date after 1890.
And a British Patents Office registration number there of about 600,000.
Right, and that decoration with the flowers, as you're pointing out, looks like a touch of the William Morrises there too.
Well, yes. I mean, here you're coming after the arts and crafts point. Remember that the arts and crafts movement also looked back to that medieval period at the time when Limoges enamels were being made. So,
very voluptuous little piece, isn't it?
It is. It's very attractive.
Yes. In fact, it was one of these that Picasso used to hide a secret portrait of Marie-Therese Voltaire, who was his mistress at the time. Extraordinary, and it's exactly a jug just like that. What's it worth?
Well, about 800 to 1600.
Now, finally, a quick tip for you on decanter stoppers, which tend to stick when left for long periods. The trick is to smear the stopper with Vaseline, and you'll never get stuck again. Bye for now.